Hello, this is Mark from My Keys to Music. Thanks for joining me on this video. I have a quick and important announcement from the makers of the Nord keyboards, Clavia. They have released some new updates for the Stage 3, the Electro 6, and other keyboards. Most importantly is the compatibility of the Nord Sample Editor 3. That's the latest version, and this is now compatible with the latest keyboards from Nord that have the ability to play samples. So I thought we'd take a quick look at that. The announcement came out today. Today is March 4th, 2020. If I go to an Electro 6, for example, and look at the latest OS that just came out, we can see here that there is, in fact, an update as of today. And if we take a look down below at what that update covers, the number one thing, added support for Nord Sample Editor 3. Now, to me personally, this came out a lot sooner than expected here in 2020, so I'm really excited about that. It shows a commitment to the company to continue to make these things compatible and keep pushing forward. Some other things on the Electro 6, the mono panel now is now a global parameter rather than being stored per program. So that's an interesting change there. And actually, I was just playing with the mono setting just the other day, a couple nights ago, and I was wondering why it was different than the Nord Stage 3, because it was stored by program. And I thought, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because generally speaking, if you're connected to a mono situation, you want to stay mono the whole night, or the whole day, or the whole gig. You don't necessarily want to have to go program by program to store that. And then for the next gig, you play stereo, and then you have to start all over again. So I think that's a great and welcome feature change there. The octave shift, and this is the first time I'm reading this. I knew about the sample editor compatibility, but I'll just go through these real quickly. Octave shift options increased to provide access to entire range when controlling the 61 key model from the 88 key controller. Okay, that's a unique situation, but it's interesting that they fixed that. Local control pedal now has effect on organ manual controlled by external keyboard in dual organ plus external KB to low mode. Okay, so those again are some not necessarily advanced features, but features that not everyone necessarily stumbles across. But it is taken care of. Velocity curves for outgoing/incoming MIDI were adjusted. I think that's good. Outgoing MIDI now produces higher velocity values. Velocity is how hard you press on the keys. Program change messages are no longer sent when browsing programs to Store To dialog. In other words, when you were clicking Store To, it would send program change messages at that time. I think that's what that's referring to. A program change message was inadvertently sent when exiting a store operation. Fixed. So if you were in the middle of, let's say, saving a program, and perhaps you were also thinking about doing that while you're at a performance, not necessarily during a song, but somewhere in between, doing that would change the program settings, and that's not necessarily when you want the changes to occur when you hit the store button. So that's what happens there. Let's go take a look at the Nord Stage 3 and see what changes came out for that, because that was also released with a new upgrade today. Let's just go to downloads. That's the best place to find it. Go to Stage 3. There we are. And let's go find out what this OS looks like. We're now up to 2.54. This is interesting, and I think a very, very potential valuable thing. Missing strokes could occur when combining layers and long release times. And I think what they mean by strokes is when it refers to polyphony. If you're missing strokes, it means the keys are dropping off. I think that's what that means. That or when you stroke a key. So maybe someone can clarify that in the comments. I'm still not on the inside of all this information. I don't work directly with Clavia on any of this. I'm sort of still an outsider. And perhaps it's best that I am an outsider in some cases. Changing samples with oscillator 1 and waveform dial could cause clicks. I heard this. Definitely, you can hear the clicks when you manipulate those oscillator knobs, or the oscillator knob. Clicks could occur when using legato and certain samples. Okay, again, that's fixed. In mono mode, wrong sample would be picked above the key C7. Fixed. Well, you wouldn't want the wrong sample to be picked if you're playing those high registers, so that's a good fix. Samples set to unpitched in editor would be pitched in legato mode. So, the new sample editor came out. A lot of people are playing with it. I would imagine a lot of this is a result of people finding issues with the new sample editor and then really tweaking it and realizing, oh, there's a couple of issues here. So all of that is being taken care of here with these updates, it seems. Ensemble and solo wind brass are now divided into separate categories. We have ensemble wind versus solo wind. We have brass versus solo brass. I think that's really important because as a keyboard player, you really do have a distinction in your mind between an ensemble and the effect that has versus a single trumpet or a single violin versus a string section. Those are really important to separate those, so I'm glad they did that. Note, existing wind brass samples are all found in the ensemble solo brass categories. Wind samples downloaded from the Nord Sample Library 3 are from now on placed in the ensemble solo wind category. So essentially, if you download something new, it's going to be properly categorized. Noise could occur when first playing after downloading sample through Nord Sample Editor. Fixed. That's a bug. Program change messages are no longer sent. Again, the same thing. The program change business with the store button, that's all taken care of in the Nord Stage 3. Let's go to the sample editor software and see if they've updated that where it shows compatibility with all the instruments. Okay. Now, it looks like they haven't updated the website yet because it says here, support for Nord Electro 6, Nord Grand, and Nord Piano 4 to be announced. Well, the truth is, it has been announced. They just haven't updated the website yet. But let's just prove that point. We've already seen that the Electro 6 is compatible with the Sample Editor 3.0. Let's go look for the other product, the Nord Piano 4 and the Nord Grand. First, the Piano 4. Let's see. Okay, we do have a new update. So chances are it's going to say right here in the update history, added support for the Nord Sample Editor 3. Let's just quickly check just to cover all our bases and make sure we do a good job with making sure none of the details are left out. We have the Nord Grand, and it also has an update. And lo and behold, the very first thing, added support for Nord Sample Editor 3. Also notice the mono mode and some other things that are similar to the update across the board. So, good set of updates today, especially all these other little bugs. That's not a huge concern for a lot of people. For me, it isn't. Maybe for you, it is if you're stumbling upon that. It's great that we're fixing bugs, but the big takeaway here from today's announcement is the Nord Sample Editor 3 and its compatibility across all the latest Nord keyboards that can provide sample capability. And the ones I've mentioned would be the Nord Grand, the Nord Piano 4, the Nord Electro 6, the Nord Stage 3, and of course the upcoming Nord Wave 2, which was already compatible with the sample editor. And stay tuned for more. We've got a lot going on. You don't see it here, but I just quickly move out of the way. That, my friends, is a Nord Lead A1 synthesizer, which arrived last week. And I'm just learning it. Well, not necessarily learning. Well, I am learning it, playing around with it, just having fun. I'm not sure what I want to do with that keyboard just yet. I'm not sure how many people actually have a Lead A1 and who might be interested in taking a full-featured Master It course like I have for the Stage 3 and the Electro 6, the Electro 5. But for those who are interested, leave a comment and say, yeah, I have a Lead A1. I never really learned it completely. So I really like to take advantage of that. All right, thanks for joining me on this video. More to come. You can see here that my studio or my room, my office, whatever this is now becoming more and more populated with Nord keyboards. My family is starting to look at me kind of funny, and they're asking questions like, do you really need all those Nord keyboards? And it's like, no, I'm doing it for the channel. I've outgrown what I need for the gig. For the gig, I still use a Nord Stage 3 and a Nord Electro 6. Those are my primary beasts. The A1 is too new. I haven't really established it yet, readiness for the gig. I may consider that down the road, but right now, the Wave 2 that's coming and the A1 that I have, those are simply just to support the channel and the millions, or what seems like millions sometimes, questions you all have regarding how to operate it and all the fine details and the MIDI configurations and the setups and connect this to that and does it support this and the comparison videos. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. I'm just celebrating the exciting news today. So we'll talk to you soon, and thanks for watching.